Welcome back to the Economic Sutra, and a special shout out to Audiocast Lab India, the masterminds behind this audio adventure. For episode 8, we're going to be talking about wealth, and not just like dollars and cents. We're going to be looking at it through the lens of the Goddess Lakshmi.
Yeah, that's such a fascinating perspective.
You know, I think most of us, when we think about wealth, we think about money, right?
Right, exactly.
Material possessions.
Stocks and bonds and all that kind of stuff.
But Lakshmi's story encourages us to think more broadly,
Way more broad.
more holistically about what it means to be truly prosperous.
Yeah, it's almost like she's whispering to us. There's so much more to it than just your bank account.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, what's like the first thing that pops into your head when you hear Lakshmi? For me, it's that image of her sitting on a lotus
Oh, it's iconic.
with coins just cascading from her hands.
Right, and even that image alone is full of meaning.
Oh, yeah.
So many layers.
So tell me about it.
Well, you've got the lotus, for instance, which symbolizes purity.
And resilience, rises from the mud and then blooms into this beautiful flower.
Yeah.
And that says so much about the kind of wealth Lakshmi embodies. It's a wealth that's earned ethically. It's sustainable. It can
Okay.
withstand challenges.
So it's like she's telling us, look, it doesn't matter what's going on around you. You can still flourish if you've got this strong foundation.
Right. If you've built your wealth on solid ground.
Exactly.
And then there are the coins
Well,
flowing from her hands.
yeah.
And that represents shared prosperity, this idea that wealth is meant to circulate, to benefit society as a whole.
Okay, so not just about hoarding it all for ourselves.
Right.
It's about sharing the abundance.
Using what you have to uplift others.
Yeah, it's like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly.
It's not just about the select few.
It's about creating opportunities for everyone.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets even more interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
In Indian philosophy, Lakshmi isn't just associated with one type of wealth.
Okay.
There are 8 forms of wealth.
Oh, wow.
They're known as the Ashtalakshmis.
The Ashtalakshmis.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 8 different forms of wealth.
Exactly. It reminds us that prosperity is so much more than just material possessions.
Okay. I'm definitely intrigued.
So we've got Adi Lakshmi,
Adi Lakshmi?
who represents spiritual wealth
Oh, that's a good one.
and inner peace. And then there's Dhana Lakshmi, that's the one we usually think of,
Okay.
financial prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
But right alongside her is Dhanya Lakshmi,
Yeah, Lakshmi.
who embodies agricultural abundance
Mm,
and the importance of resources.
I love that one.
It highlights those fundamental needs,
Yeah, food, shelter.
right, those essential things for survival.
You know, it's making me think about like food waste and sustainability and
Absolutely.
those modern day issues.
And ensuring that everyone has access
To those basic needs.
to the resources they need to thrive.
Exactly.
So then we have Gaja Lakshmi, symbolizing responsible power and authority, and then Santana Lakshmi,
Okay.
representing progeny and legacy.
So it's not just about what we do during our lifetime.
Right. It's about the impact we have on future generations.
That's a good one.
And then,
I bet the next one's not material either.
you got it, it's Veera Lakshmi,
Veera Lakshmi.
who embodies courage and strength, that resilience to face challenges head on,
Oh, that's powerful.
staying true to your values even when things get tough.
Yeah, it's not just about money in the bank. It's about what's in here.
It's that inner strength.
Exactly.
And then we have Vidya Lakshmi, representing knowledge and education.
Oh,
Finally, Vijaya Lakshmi,
Vijaya Lakshmi.
who embodies success, achieved with integrity and purpose.
So it seems like all of these Lakshmis, they're all interconnected.
They are.
I mean, you need that courage. You need that resilience
Mm-hmm.
to go after what you want,
To pursue your goals,
but you also need the knowledge to make good decisions.
to make informed choices.
And then you need that inner peace to stay grounded along the way.
It's not about chasing one form of wealth at the expense of others. It's about nurturing all of them to live a truly fulfilling life.
Exactly.
And this brings us to another important concept,
Okay.
Dharma. In Indian thought, wealth is always intertwined with righteous living.
Okay.
It's not just about how much you have, it's about how you acquire it and how you use it.
Yeah, it's like having this moral compass
Exactly.
guiding all your financial decisions.
Ensuring your pursuit of prosperity aligns with your values.
Exactly. So Lakshmi really embodies this
She does.
idea of ethical and sustainable wealth creation.
Right, where prosperity flows naturally. when actions are guided by virtue.
It's amazing how relevant that is for today. I mean, look at ethical business and social responsibility.
Absolutely.
And conscious consumerism.
Yeah, it's like Lakshmi's principles are woven into the fabric of a more ethical and sustainable future.
Absolutely. And if you're interested in learning more about this, be sure to check out the books in our show notes.
Yeah, we've put together a great list.
Okay, so let's bring it into the real world. How is Lakshmi celebrated during Diwali?
Oh, it's the perfect example of ancient wisdom coming to life. You see Diwali, the Festival of Lights. It's not just about asking for money. It's about reflecting on the deeper meaning of prosperity.
I like that.
So tell me about it.
What are some of the things that people do during Diwali that aren't about asking for wealth?
Well, for starters, cleaning our homes and our workplaces before Diwali. It's not just about tidying up. It's about removing negativity and creating space for Lakshmi.
Both literally and figuratively.
Exactly.
I see the connection to Adi Lakshmi, that inner peace aspect.
Right. A clean and organized space can bring a sense of calmness.
For sure.
And then there's the tradition of exchanging gifts and sweets with loved ones and with our community. It's an expression of generosity, spreading joy.
And that shared prosperity.
Exactly. Wealth isn't meant to be hoarded. It's meant to flow and benefit others.
I love that.
So these Diwali traditions, they're like a lived philosophy, a reminder of the true purpose of wealth.
Yeah. Bringing those values of generosity, ethical conduct, community well-being into our everyday lives.
It's like this beautiful blend of ancient wisdom and modern celebration, reminding us that prosperity is so much more than just money.
Than just those material possessions.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really is amazing how ancient traditions can weave these philosophical ideas into our daily life.
It's like Lakshmi herself is giving us a little nudge, reminding us that it's not just about the stuff. It's about aligning your actions with your values.
Exactly. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in that chase for material wealth.
Oh, for sure.
But Lakshmi's story really encourages us to think bigger.
Yeah.
To look beyond just accumulating possessions.
Yeah, she's asking us to think about how can we actually use the resources, both material and spiritual, to make a difference.
It's about shifting our focus from what do I have to what am I doing with what I have. Yeah, it's powerful. So it's like challenging ourselves to consider, you know, how are my financial decisions, my career choices, my everyday actions, how are those contributing to making the world a better place?
It's about asking, how am I using my wealth in all its forms to create opportunities for myself and for others? How am I contributing to a legacy that goes beyond my own lifetime?
So we're like conscious creators of prosperity.
Yes.
Not just for ourselves, but for everyone.
And what's fascinating is that this ancient wisdom is actually aligning with a lot of modern economic thinking.
Oh, I see that all the time. You know, there's a growing movement toward corporate social responsibility.
Absolutely.
Ethical sourcing, sustainable practices.
It's like Lakshmi's principles are finding their way into boardrooms and business models.
I love that.
Encouraging companies to consider their impact on the environment, on their employees, on the communities they serve.
Yeah, it gives me hope that we're moving towards a more holistic and purpose-driven approach to the whole financial system.
And it's not just at the corporate level. Individuals are also making more conscious choices, aligning their finances and their career paths with their values.
Yeah, more people are looking for ethical investment opportunities, supporting businesses that are doing good in the world, choosing careers where they can make a difference.
And it's like a collective awakening to the idea that true wealth encompasses those things.
Ethical conduct, social responsibility, environmental sustainability.
Exactly.
So how do you think Lakshmi's story can help us navigate some of the big challenges we're facing today, like income inequality or climate change?
That's a great question. I think Lakshmi's message of shared prosperity offers a really powerful solution to that growing gap between the rich and the poor.
Yeah.
Her story reminds us that wealth is meant to benefit everyone, not just a select few.
It's about systems that uplift and empower everyone.
Exactly. And when it comes to climate change, Lakshmi's emphasis on sustainability and responsible resource management couldn't be more important.
Yeah, it's like we're not just stewards of our own wealth. We're stewards of the planet's resources.
Right. She encourages us to think long-term, to make choices that ensure a healthy and prosperous future.
For everyone.
For generations to come.
Yeah, so shifting our mindset from short-term gain to long-term well-being, from individual prosperity to collective flourishing.
Exactly. And as we're talking about these complex issues, it reminds me of the power of storytelling.
Oh, I love that. Stories can make these big, abstract concepts so much more real.
Tangible and relatable.
Yeah, and Lakshmi's story is such a powerful one. It's about abundance and generosity, ethical conduct.
And the interconnectedness of all things.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a story that's just as relevant today as it was centuries ago.
It offers timeless wisdom for navigating the complexities of the modern world.
So we've talked a lot about the big picture stuff, but I'm curious, how can we bring this down to a personal level? How can people integrate these principles into their everyday lives?
That's a wonderful question. I think it starts with awareness. Just being mindful of Lakshmi's principles. Generosity, ethical conduct, gratitude can make difference.
Yeah, instead of just focusing on accumulating more and more, we can ask ourselves, how can I use what I have to make a positive impact? How can I support businesses that align with my values? How can I be more mindful of what I buy?
And it doesn't have to be huge things, even small acts of generosity.
Like donating to a local charity.
Right, or helping out a neighbor. Those things can ripple outward and create a more positive and abundant world.
We can all be agents of change.
Exactly. We all have that power.
Embodying Lakshmi's principles in our own lives.
And as we do that, we not only contribute to a more prosperous and harmonious society, but we cultivate that sense of inner peace and fulfillment.
It's like aligning ourselves with this flow of abundance, letting prosperity manifest in all areas of our lives.
So on that note, why don't we shift gears a bit?
For those of you who want to dive even deeper into these ideas, check out the book recommendations.
We've got some great resources for you
in the show notes. And before we move on, we want to thank Audiocast Lab India.
Yes.
They are truly masters of audio storytelling,
weaving together sound narrative expertise to create this immersive experience.
It's been an amazing journey so far. And speaking of journeys, our next episode will be about Varna and Jati,
division of labor in ancient India.
Who will be exploring the intricacies of this ancient system and its relevance to modern society.
It's going to be a good one.
So stay tuned for that. But before we sign off, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder.
Imagine Lakshmi in all her glory, offering you her guidance. What would she say about your path? What changes might she inspire?
That's something to think about as we move forward.
You know, it's incredible how these ancient concepts still resonate with us today.
It really is the beauty of wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, it transcends time. It speaks to something deep inside us. So as we wrap up our exploration of Lakshmi and all these different forms of wealth, I want to bring it back to something we talked about earlier. You know, how do we actually live this out?
Yeah, how do we bring it into our everyday lives?
Exactly.
How do we embody her wisdom?
Yeah. How do we make it real in our own financial decisions, career choices, even in our relationships with money and success?
It's like asking, what would Lakshmi do?
Exactly what would Lakshmi do in our modern world?
Right. I think she would remind us that true wealth isn't about hoarding or chasing material possessions. It's about using what we have to make a positive impact.
Yeah. How can I create opportunities? Not just for myself, but for others.
How can I contribute to a more just and sustainable world?
I can almost hear her saying, let your wealth flow. Let it nourish and uplift. Let it be a force for good.
And she might also remind us that true prosperity isn't just about material abundance. It's also about inner peace, strong relationships, a sense of purpose, a connection to something greater than ourselves.
It's about finding that sweet spot where our passions and our skills and our values intersect with what the world needs.
Where our personal fulfillment aligns with our desire to make a difference.
And when we embrace that holistic understanding, it opens us up to a deeper sense of abundance and joy.
Absolutely. Prosperity becomes less about what we own and more about who we are and how we contribute.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of wealth.
Me too. Lakshmi's story is truly a treasure trove of wisdom, timeless guidance for navigating life.
In a way that is meaningful and fulfilling.
And with that,
we've reached the end of our 8th episode of the Economic Sutra.
A huge thank you to Audiocast Lab India.
Yes, they're incredible.
For bringing this podcast to life.
True masters of audio storytelling. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of Indian economic philosophy.
We hope you found it as enriching as we did.
And if you want to explore these ideas further, be sure to check out the book recommendations
in the show notes.
We've got some great resources for you there. And mark your calendars for our next episode, where we'll be delving into Varna and Jati,
division of labor in ancient India.
We'll be exploring the historical context, social implications, and lasting relevance of this ancient system.
It's going to be a fascinating discussion.
So we hope you'll join us.
Until then, may Lakshmi's blessings of abundance, wisdom, and compassion guide you on your journey.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.